Syracuse and Utica. Very rural. Even when I was growing up there, it went up at 6 o'clock in the morning and it was closed at 5. Well, I also come from a long line of bookaholics. So every time there was a sale at the library, my family always went down there and combed through the books and saw what was there. Well, one day my father picked up this folio. He looked at it and he took it up to the cash register and he said, "You don't want to sell these?" And they said, yeah, really, they're for sale. He said, "Okay, fine." He bought them. And they were the letters from Lieutenant, soon to be Captain, Daniel C. Knowlton this is from August 1862 to October 1864. And now keep in mind, this is Casanova, New York. So I was going through the letters and I came across one that I thought was particularly relevant. Dated Monday, December 8th, 1862, at sea on the steamer Thames. Dear parents, I write once more after going through what I never want to again. I'll give you an idea as near as I can. We left Fortress Monroe Thursday the 4th. We were ordered out to sea with the rest of the fleet and lay to for the flagship Baltic. We did so. The Baltic came out on Friday morn, and then we took our place in line and started south. No sooner had we got well underway when the wind began to rise, and it began to rain very hard and blow harder and harder till it blew a gale. We were rolling and pitching around lively. About this time we had got off that place dreaded by all sailors, Cape Hatteras, when all at once our engine broke down and there we were, off Cape Hatteras in a gale, and our engine broke. We put up a signal of distress at once, and lucky for us, the steamer Erickson, with a large steamer, saw our signal and bore down toward us. But how to get us a line was now the thing, for the gale was terrific, and the sea was running awful high. We tried every means, but it was no go. Finally, the steamer came surging down on us. Then was an anxious moment. 1 minute the huge monster would be upon a huge sea and threaten to crush us, but she was well handled, and they run by us within 2 feet. Our spanker boom just caught them and tore one of their boats to 1,000 pieces. It broke the boom, knocked our captain down, and injured him so that he's been confined ever since. But the sailors managed to catch a line, and we got a hawser fastened, and then we felt better. But it was an anxious night for us, for we knew if that hawser parted, we were gone up, for we were a perfect wreck. Everything was tumbling around furiously. The huge sea would come crashing down on us. It would look as though we were going down every minute. I tell you, it was awful. And we passed an awful night, black with lightning. The huge seas, the wind roaring, and everything that makes a storm at sea terrible we had. And the worst was, we were a wreck. The mate, a noble man, and the crew did nobly. All day Saturday it kept up the same, but our hawser still held its own. There was not a man but what prayed that it might hold, for we all knew that if it parted, we would go down in a few minutes. Sunday the wind went down a little in the afternoon. The hawser parted near the Erickson. Now, how to get the line again was the question, for the seas were running awful high. They sent a small boat from the steamer, but they could do nothing. Then we saw the huge steamer bearing down at us again. I tell you, we thought we were gone up this time for sure, for we knew the danger of being run into from Friday's experience. But down she came, nearer and nearer. Then I will confess I was some scared. So was every person on board. Someone spoke out, "We are gone sure." Then we heard the crash and we shut our eyes. But thanks to Providence, we parted again without any injury to us and only smashing another of their small boats. Our brave sailors stood right at their post, never flinching, and got the hawser fast again. So we were safe again. I have always wished to see a storm at sea, but I never want to see another, not as I know of. Well, it's over now, and land is in sight, and we are feeling finely. We shall be into Port Royal, South Carolina tonight. We shall only stop long enough to repair our engine, and then we shall put out again. We are going to Ship Island near New Orleans, so we've got a good ways to go yet. But can't imagine the sight of a storm at sea. It's perfectly awful. No pen can describe it, at least I can't. All I can say, it was sublime and terrific. The captain of the Erickson just came aboard in a small boat to see our damages. He said he never saw 1,400 men so near going down as we did, twice when he run into us. For his vessel has got some 1,000 men and we 400. He said he would not do it again if he had broken, for his 1,000 men were worth more than our 400. But we are all right now, I think. but this is the nearest I ever came to being put under. Our men behaved splendidly. Not a cry did we hear from them at any time. It is a wonder, for if there was ever 3 days of horror, they have seen them. Now, if I can only see a battle, I shall be all right. Well, he did indeed see a battle. He saw many. And in the memoirs of the 114th, it's described this way. He is described this way. In the bivouac or on the march, he made himself a general favorite by reason of his genial disposition and uniform good nature. He was always patient under difficulties with equanimity. He bore severe labors and fatigue. He never seemed annoyed with the petulance and fault-finding of his comrades, but was in the heat and excitement of battle when his wonderful character excited more general admiration. No one could have been more cool, skillful, and deliberate than he was at the Battle of Bismarck, when Colonel Smith sent him forward to skirmish close to the enemy's works. No one could have been more brave and daring than he was at the assault upon Port Hudson, when at the head of his men, he urged them forward by his gallant example and pressed clear to the rebel parapet. No one could have earned more a high reputation as he did in all the engagements of the Red River Campaign. No one could have been so calm yet so dignified as he was at Winchester, where nearly all his men fell around him. When the bloody morning of the 19th of October brought a sudden clamor of battle, this is at Cedar Creek, in case you're wondering, Captain Knowlton was found standing quiet and dignified at the head of his company. When the work of carnage commenced, he gave his orders slowly, in a low tone, and soothed the fears of his men by his smiling face and indifferent manner. Perceiving that without extraordinary exertions the battle was lost, he seized the gun and cartridge box of young Alfred Morris, who had been wounded near him, and commenced to load and fire with his men. While thus engaged, a merciless bullet struck him full in the forehead, and falling forward upon his face, he unconsciously breathed out his soul without a struggle or a pain. He did it.